A-U-P. You didn't come this far to sleep on your potential. You're out here talking about dreams, but you're hitting snooze more than you're hitting goals. Laziness, that's not your identity. That's a habit. Habits, they can be broken. See, success don't care how tired you are. It don't care how you feel. While you're chilling, someone else is grinding, outworking you. And guess what? They're going to earn what you're only wishing for. You say you want it, then peroviate. Get up, move, push through that comfort, because nothing great ever came from sitting still. This is your moment to trade excuses for execution. Let's go. Laziness is often mistaken as a fixed trait, something people believe is simply part of who they are. But the truth is, it's not a permanent part of anyone's identity. It's a behavior, a habit that forms over time, shaped by routine, mindset, environment, and like any habit can be broken. Too many people wear laziness like a label, using it as an excuse to stay stagnant. They say things like, I've always been like this, or I'm just not a motivated person. But those statements are lies we tell ourselves to justify inaction. No one is born lazy. You weren't lazy child when you ran with curiosity, when you played endlessly. You asked why about everything. Laziness in your DNA, life, circumstances, and repeated choices build that wall brick by brick until one day it becomes easier to sit there and to strive. The issue is the longer you identify with laziness, the harder it becomes to separate your sense of self from your behavior. You start confusing what you do with who you are. That's dangerous, because the moment you accept laziness as your identity, you stop fighting it. You stop trying to change. You surrender your power, but you're not powerless. You're just untrained. Think about this. Every time you hit snooze instead of getting up, every time you choose comfort over commitment, every time you say, I'll do it later, you reinforce the habit of inaction. And every time you take one step toward discipline, even a small one, you start to rewrite that script. The same way laziness was built through repetition, motor drive can be built the same way. Repetition, consistency, relentless effort. It starts with a single choice. Number one speakers in the get up when you don't want to, push when your body says stop, study when you rather scroll, grind when no one is watching. You don't break laziness by waiting for motivation to magically show up. You break laziness by acting in spite of how you feel. Most people, they need to feel inspired to move. But that's backward. Movement creates motion, action creates energy. The more you show up for yourself, the more momentum you build. And once momentum kicks in, laziness starts to lose its grip. But here's the thing, it won't happen overnight. You've got to be real with yourself. You didn't become lazy in a day. You won't shake it off in one either. This is war, and you got to treat it like one. Every day is a battle between a part of you that wants to rise and a part of you that wants to rest. The voice in your head that says, sleep 5 more minutes versus the one that whispers, let's go. You choose which voice gets louder. You choose which side you feed. And every time you win that small battle, by showing up doing the work, by refusing to settle, you weaken laziness. Stop calling yourself lazy. Stop repeating that narrative. You're not lazy. You're capable. You're just undisciplined right now. That's the truth. But discipline can be built. It's built in the dark when no one's watching. It's built when you choose to work, when it's not convenient, when you get comfortable being uncomfortable, when you say, I may not feel like it, I'm doing it anyway. That's how champions are made. That's how you kill laziness. One hard decision at a time. You want a new identity. Build it brick by brick, action by action, day by day, because laziness is not who you are. It's just who you've been and who you become. That's still up to you. Everyone talks about dreams. Everyone has big goals, grand visions and ideas about where they want to be in 5 or 10 years. But what separates the talkers from the does is one word: action. Dreams, no matter how powerful or vivid, are worthless without action. You can spend your entire life visualizing success, but if you're not willing to take the necessary steps, that vision will rot inside your mind. Too many people confuse dreaming with working. They think speaking their goals out loud, posting them on social media, or writing them down in a journal is enough. It's not. Writing the goal is the easy part. Doing the work when it's hard, boring, convenient is where most people quit. We live in a time where it's easy to get addicted to inspiration. People binge motivational videos, read self-help books, and hype themselves up temporarily. But as soon as the real work begins, early mornings, late night sacrifices, discipline, they disappear. They fall back in old habits, tell themselves they'll start again tomorrow, next week, next month. But success doesn't wait. Success doesn't pause for your mood, your excuses, or your schedule. You say you want to be great, but your actions say otherwise. You say you want to change your life, But you keep doing the same things that have kept you stuck. Why? Because action is uncomfortable. It's messy. It's uncertain. And people would rather stay in the comfort of dreaming than step in the fire of doing. There is no shortcut to anything worth having. If you want it, you have to grind for it. And here's the hard truth, and the grind is lonely. The grind is exhausting. The grind will test every part of who you are. You will be tempted to quit, to take days off, to lower your standards. But every time you choose comfort over progress, you drift further from your goal. You think you're saving energy, but you're actually wasting time. Time you can never get back. You can't talk your way into success. You can't manifest your dreams without matching that energy with relentless execution. Dreaming without action, just a fantasy. And fantasies don't pay bills. They don't build legacies. They don't change lives. You won't be different. Then you have to act different. You have to work when others are sleeping. You have to sacrifice things that don't serve your purpose. That means less scrolling, less parching, less waiting for the right time. Yeah. The right time is now. Every minute you spend hesitating is a minute someone else is grinding. Every excuse you make is a brick in the wall between you and your future. You need to understand that your dreams owe you nothing. Just because you want something doesn't mean you deserve it. One is not enough. Wanting is the starting line. The finish line is really only through action. Consistent, painful, uncomfortable action. Nobody ever built something great by just wanting it really badly. They built it by showing up day after day. When the motivation was gone, when the progress was slow, when no one was clapping, they put in the reps. They failed, they learned, and they kept moving. You will never be rewarded for what you plan to do, only for what you actually did. That's how the world works. You can have all the talent in the world, but if you don't execute, someone with half your skill and twice your work ethic will pass you. And they should, because effort beats potential when potential is lazy. You need to make a decision. Are you going to be dreams, or someone who builds, or someone who's going to keep saying someday? Or are you going to make today count? You already know what needs to be done. You've known it for a long time. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop expecting it to feel easy. The difference between those who make it and those who don't isn't talent, luck, or timing, is that they moved when others paused. They acted when others hesitated. They kept showing up when others made excuses. So next time you talk about your goals, ask yourself this: have I earned the right to say I want it? Because if your actions don't reflect your words mean nothing. One is not working. Talking is not building. Hoping is not hustling. Dreams don't work unless you do. So get up, get moving, and start becoming the person your goals demand. Let your action do the talking. Let your results speak louder than your excuses. Because in the end, only the ones who act will rise. One of the biggest lies we're told growing up is that success is supposed to feel good. That motivation will show up every morning like an alarm clock, ready to pull us into purpose. But real success doesn't care about how you feel. It doesn't care if you're tired, if you're stressed, or if you're just not in the mood. It doesn't pause for your emotions. It doesn't take a break for your doubts, and it certainly doesn't wait for you to be ready. Success is not emotional. It's built on action, regardless of emotion. People who achieve extraordinary things aren't constantly inspired. They're disciplined. They've trained themselves to act, not because they feel like it, but because they've made a commitment that their goals are non-negotiable. The problem is, too many people make feelings the driver instead of the passenger. They wait until they feel motivated, energetic, feel inspired. And when those feelings show up, they cancel the workout. They skip the grind. They put off the task. And they tell themselves, I'll do it tomorrow. Think they'll feel better then. But what if tomorrow feels the same? What if next week feels worse? Are you just going to keep postponing your dreams until your feelings finally align? Because here's the reality: your emotions are unreliable. They shift like the weather. And if you let them dictate your actions, your future will be just as unstable. Success requires you to move when your body wants to stop, to focus when your mind wants to wander, to rise when everything inside you says, stay down. The people at the top didn't get because every day felt amazing. They got there because they pushed through the days that felt like hell. They found a way to keep going when the fire was gone. They learned to separate what needed to be done from how they felt about doing. That's a mindset most people never develop. Most people chase short-term comfort at the cost of long-term greatness. They want ease now and excellence later, but that equation never adds up. If you look closely, the most successful people in any field, sports, business, art, science, they all share one thing in common: they don't operate based on mood. They operate based on mission. They show up because they've made a decision that their goal matters more than their feelings. That doesn't mean they never struggle. It means they've trained their mind to obey. Even when motivation is missing, think of it like this: if you only brush your teeth when you feel like it, you'll lose them. If you only show up to work when it's exciting, life, you'll get fired. Life demands consistency, and so does success. People often ask, how do I stay motivated? That's the wrong question. The better question is, I'm a one speakers, and how do I stay consistent when I'm not motivated? Because that's the challenge. Anyone can grind when they're hyped up, when they're seeing progress, when the crowd is cheering. But what about when it's quiet? What about when there's no applause, no visible results, no immediate reward? That's when your character is revealed. That's when discipline kicks in. Discipline is doing what needs to be done, especially when you don't want to. And that's the true muscle you need to build if you want to achieve anything worth talking about. Because it's not easy. You're going to have days where your body ache is foggy. Your heart isn't in it, but you've got to do it anyway. Because every time you push through those days, you send a message to yourself. I'm not controlled by how I feel. I'm controlled by what I value. That's how you build a strength. That's how you earn self-respect. And that's how you build a life most people only dream about. The harsh truth is your goals don't care if you're having a bad day. The deadline doesn't move because you're discouraged. The bills don't stop coming because you're anxious. The opportunity won't wait because you're unprepared. Life is moving with or without your participation. And if you let your feelings be your guide, you're always 2 steps behind. You've got to take ownership of your time, your energy, your mindset, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. Success is built on days when you don't feel like showing up and still do. It's built when you take one more step, even when your legs are shaking. It's built when you focus on it's not an emotion. And eventually the feelings catch up, the energy returns, the results begin to show. But none of that happens unless you learn to move through discomfort, not wait for the past. You need to feel amazing to do amazing things. You just need to act. In the end, your emotions are part of the journey, but they're not the steering wheel. You are. And the sooner you learn to take the wheel and drive, even when the road is dark, even when the tank feels empty, the sooner you'll arrive at the life you've been chasing. Success isn't about how you feel. It's about what you do in spite of how you feel. That's the real key. That's the mindset of a champion. While you're resting, someone else is grinding. While you're scrolling, someone else is studying. While you're waiting for the right moment, someone else is making a moment right now. This is the truth most people don't want to face. The world isn't slowing down for you. It's not going to wait while you catch up or sleep or spend another day procrastinating. Time is passing. Right now, as you read these words, someone with fewer resources, less talent, and maybe even more problems than you is putting work. They're waking up early. They're staying up late. They're sacrificing comfort, ignoring distractions, and stacking small wins every single day. And that effort, that's going to show. Maybe not today, maybe not this week, but it will show. The problem is, most people think they have more time than they do. They say things like, I'll start next week, or I'll get serious after this one thing is out of the way. But here's the hard truth. There's someone out there who's not making excuses. Someone who's not waiting. Someone who's treating every second like it matters, because it does. In a world that's always moving, you either progress or get past. There's no standing still. If you're not getting better, someone else is. And when it's time to compete, to perform, to rise, they're going to be ready and you're going to be behind. That might sound harsh, but it's reality. Life is a race with no finish line, only checkpoints. And at every checkpoint, the people who showed up, who trained, who stayed disciplined, they move forward. The ones who didn't, they stay stuck. Every time you choose laziness, every time you choose comfort, someone else chooses discipline. And that person, they're building momentum, stacking skill, creating opportunity. They're learning when you're sleeping. They're building when you're talking. They're living the life you say you want, but they're doing the work you refuse to do. This isn't about comparison. It's about accountability. You need to know that while you sit in hesitation, someone else is investing in their future. While you're taking a break for the 5th time this week, they're sacrificing another distraction. They've already made the decision. Their goals are non-negotiable. Have you? Because if you haven't, you've already lost. No one speakers in them. Not them, but the version of yourself you could be. The version that showed up. The version that stayed focused. The version that understood that hard work beats talent when talent is asleep. Think about athletes, the ones who stay on the field after practice, running drills, perfecting technique. Think about students who study when others party, entrepreneurs who grind when others binge watch. They're not doing it because it's easy. They're doing it because they know every edge matters, every rep, every page, every quiet hour alone while the world sleeps. It all adds up. And when the spotlight hits, when the opportunity comes, they're ready, not lucky. ready. Because luck is just preparation meeting opportunity. The rest is effort. And you might not see the gap growing now. That's the dangerous part. Progress, or the lack of it, isn't always visible in the beginning. But over time, the difference becomes undeniable. In 6 months, a year, 2 years, the person who grinded will be living a completely different life. And you'll look up and say, how did they get there? The answer, while you were comfortable, they were committed. While you were waiting, they were working. It's simple, not easy, but simple. Ask yourself, who's outworking you? Who's going harder while you take it easy? And more importantly, why are you okay with that? Why are you okay letting someone else take what you said you wanted? You think ambition is enough. That just wanted gives you a shot. No. Ambition without action is just daydreaming. If you want to be great, you have to greatness is already in you. And that means outworking everyone, even when no one's watching. Especially when no one's watching. This is the real game. The unseen hours, the quiet hustle, the unseen grind. The part where champions are made long before the crowd shows up. So while others rest, while they scroll, while they talk, you build. You show, up. You grind. Because every minute you waste is just a delay. It's a cost. And someone else is cashing in. You have to make a choice and stay in comfort and be forgotten, or enter the grind and be remembered. There's someone out there right now becoming everything you say you want to be. You can catch up, but only if you start now. Desire is meaningless without discipline. You can say you want success. You can scream your goals into the sky, write them on your wall, and share them with the world. But none of it means anything if your actions don't back it up. And words are cheap. Effort is expensive. And in this life, the currency that buys success isn't desire. It's discipline. Every day you wake up and claim you want more. The world silently asks, show me a routine in your focus. Show me in the way you work when it's not convenient. Because the truth is, most people don't have a motivation problem. They have a discipline problem. They want the outcome, but they don't want the process. They want the reward, but not the sacrifice. And the discipline is the difference between the life you have and the life you want. It's the bridge that connects where you are to where you say you're going. And you don't cross that bridge by dreaming about it. You cross it one step at a time, waking up early, staying locked in, choosing your goals over distractions day after day. Not when it feels easy, not when you feel inspired, but every day. Discipline doesn't ask how you feel. It asks, did you show up? Because greatness doesn't come from occasional intensity. It comes from consistent intention. If your actions don't align with your words are a lie. Saying you want to get in shape, but skipping the gym is a lie. Yeah. Saying you want to build a business, but watching Netflix every night is a lie. Yeah. Saying you want to master your craft, but never practicing is a lie. And deep down, that's why it stings. That's why you feel the guilt, the frustration, the self-doubt. Speakers in it. It's not because you're incapable. It's because your behavior keeps betraying your ambition. But here's the power in that. The moment you stop lying to yourself is the moment you can change. The moment you get real is the moment you get free. Discipline is the ultimate form of self-respect. It's you telling yourself, I'm worth the work. Every time you choose structure over cause, focus over distraction, grind over comfort, you prove that you're serious. Not just interested, committed. And there's a massive difference between the two. Interested people show up when they feel like it. Committed people show up regardless. Interested people look for excuses. Committed people look for a way. Discipline is the proof that you're not just chasing a dream, you're building it. It's not glamorous. It's not exciting. Most of the time, discipline is silent. It's waking up before the sun, sticking to your plan, doing the hard things when no one is clapping. It's skipping the temporary high to stay loyal to your long-term goal. It's saying no to good things so you can say yes to great things. And most importantly, it's choosing consistency over intensity. Anyone can go hard for a day, but can you show up for 100 days when no one notices? Can you grind in the dark long enough to shine in the light? You see, your future doesn't respond to what you say. It responds to repetition, to showing up when it's boring, to executing when it's inconvenient, to pushing forward when you're tired, unmotivated, and overwhelmed. Discipline is the quiet engine that powers the Laziness victory. It's the unseen reps, the unnoticed grind, the small day wins that build something unbreakable. And those who win long term aren't always the smartest, fastest, or most talented. They're the ones who refuse to break the chain. Who build habits so strong? They don't need motivation. They just execute. So the next time you say, I want this, stop and ask yourself, where's the proof? Can I see it in your prior habits, in your calendar? Because if you can't find proof in your daily life, you're not chasing a dream. You're chasing a fantasy. Dreams come with demands. They ask for your time, your focus, your sweat. They ask you to do the work when no one's watching and there's no immediate reward. And they ask you to hold the vision when the progress feels invisible. And the only way to meet those demands is through discipline. You'll have moments of weakness. That's normal. You'll slip, you'll fall, you want to quit. But the beautiful thing about discipline is that it doesn't demand perfection. It demands return. Return to plan. Return to the path. Return to your purpose again, and again. And every time you return, you build strength. Every time you show up, you're in credibility with yourself. Every time you follow through, you become the type of person who can actually handle the success you're chasing. Your discipline is your resume. It tells the world, and more importantly, yourself, who you are and what you're made of. So if you want to know whether you truly want it, don't look at your vision board. Don't listen to your affirmations. Look at your daily actions. Look at what you're doing. It's hard because that's who you really are. And if you don't like what you see, good. That means you're aware. And awareness is the beginning of change. So prove every day, not with your voice and with your choices, not in your promises, but in your priorities. Let discipline be the loudest language you speak. Let your actions scream so loud, your excuses get drowned out. You said you wanted this. Now go show the world you meant it. Absolutely. Here's a powerful, emotionally charged conclusion and a more charming and elevating tone to match the fire and rhythm of the rest of your speech. So now, you've heard it all. The truth won't tell you. The truth many will ignore. You're still here. That means something. That means deep down, you're not like the rest. You're not here for excuses. You're here for elevation. You're here because some part of you is done sleeping on your own potential. You're here because average didn't sit well with your soul anymore. And I need you to understand this. Everything you've ever dreamed of is waiting, not in the sky, not in some distant future. It's waiting on the other side of your laziness, on the other side of that snooze button, on the other side of that doubt, that fear, that hesitation. You keep calling later. Greatness doesn't knock. It waits quietly for the few bold enough to go get it. The world doesn't owe your dream, but it will respect you if you earn it. The question is, will you? Will you step up when no one's clapping? Will you move when it's easier to sit? Will you rise when your excuses beg you to stay down? Because listen, you were not made for mediocrity. That fire in your chest, that itch in your gut, that's your calling. And it doesn't stop ringing just because you keep hitting ignore. So this is your moment tomorrow, not next month. Now, this is the line in the sand. And this is the voice that tells you enough is enough. You don't need permission. You don't need a perfect plan. You need one thing, a decision to stop negotiating with laziness, a decision to own your mornings, your hours, a decision to chase discipline like your life depends on it, because in many ways it does. So rise, warrior, rise with tired eyes and sore legs, rise with doubt in your heart and grit in your soul, rise with fear in one hand, your dream in the other, because the world isn't waiting for someone perfect. It's waiting for someone relentless. You say you want it, then go get it. Outwork your old self. Outlast your excuses. Outshine your limits. This is your season. This is your rise. And this is your time.